Welcome back to Fire Force Anime Review, episode number 4. This is reviewing the 8th episode of the anime, which is Infernal Insects. Yes. This episode, and I looked it up, this one covers the last 2 pages of chapter 24, covers the entirety of chapters 25-27 with some minor changes, and they stopped at the first after the first 13 pages of chapter 28. Yeah, that's as far as they went to with this thing. So they got almost the entirety of, well, at least they got through 3 full chapters, which was great. Now, I thought this arc will definitely wrap up by episode 10, definitely, because I think next week's episode will finish this chapter 28, probably definitely go through the entirety of chapters 29, 30, and 31, and probably go through partway through chapter 32. That's probably what the next episode is going to be. Yep, episode starts off kind of like where the manga lives. There's actually no change here. Basically, the first minute of the episode is just basically adaptation of the last 2 pages of chapter 24. Just with this mysterious guy calling some other person, and then 3 lieutenants walk by. Yep, not much change here. With this one, it's pretty much the same. It's mostly kept hidden exactly who this person. It's basically shown it's lieutenant talking to whoever this person is. They don't say who it is until the end of the episode. And mostly, but when they adapt chapters 25 to 28, it was mostly the same, with the exception of minor changes, mostly visual changes. Like for instance, they have Shira meet up with Lieutenant from Squad 8. There's actually a visual change here, yes. In the manga, they present us with a different camera angle per se. They have the building on the left, and they have the lieutenant on the right. Here, it's basically a reverse mirror image. It's pretty much the same scene, with him also talking to a couple of beautiful nuns. But mostly put, it's the same exact scene. The only slight other change they made is that Shira closes his curtains when he sees the woman who's in love with him. Captain Henby. Yep. Also, when they show her in the episode first time, aside from this one scene, her dialogue is mostly the same. Basically, talk about the insects, which they do see in this episode, and mostly put everything is mostly the same after this, with the exception of from what I can tell, mostly the same. Mostly the same. From what I can tell. Though they do show when they have... Now, later on, after they have this, they get... Now, they do have a change here. Really kind of big change. Because this is this is the same scene as was in the manga, but they add different characters here. They have Juggernaut, Arthur, Shira, and I think they have a guy from Squad 5 just sitting in the cafeteria. You have Arthur to Shira's right. In front of Shira is Juggernaut, and the right and basically next to him is an empty chair. Tamaki comes in. Now, this scene pretty much proceeds very similarly to how it presented in the manga. Her skirt gets lifted, and then she somehow gets jumped up and lands, has her basically sits on Tamaki's head, with him face down on something. They do change here. Now, here it's basically having a bottle, basically something Arthur uses to lift up her skirt. In the manga, he uses his bare hand to lift up her skirt, which causes her to land on Shira's head. Though in the manga, Shira's head landed on a bed. In the anime, his head landed on a table. Probably, and of course she does a little thing of basically playfully beating him up for allegedly being a pervert, even though that she's got really bad luck. Yes. And this whole point of this is basically like an Infernal showed up. Mostly after this, it's the same. Not much change here. Except that they show the guy basically walking out who gets turned to Inferno. Yeah, you actually see him walking out. Something really weird is happening to him. And then we see a man in lieutenant's garb. We don't see this person. We actually reveal at the end of the episode who it is. In the manga, they had to wait chapter 27 to reveal who the heck was behind the Infernals. Well, this group of Infernals anyways. And we see the guy lit up, and basically you have Shira go after the person who basically did this, instead of going after, the Inferno. Now I do disagree with how Lieutenant... Now, this is the same as the manga. The Lieutenant basically is here who's not the actual the one behind all this. Yeah, he pretty much tells them to stay behind, despite the fact, yes, they're rookies. Fine. But they've actually eliminated about a handful of Infernals already, and they have combat experience. So, Shira chases after, and he comes across 2 of the 3 lieutenants. And Arthur's about to accuse him of something, and of course Shira stops him, mainly because of the fact that, well, they don't have any evidence basically to accuse him of anything, which is indeed true. It's just a suspicion. And then they later on go to Kisira's room, because, well, they have Juggernaut basically keep busy with some nonsense, and he says to help with Tamaki. Now, in the manga, he said, okay, her contact info. In the anime, he says, I'll give her number. Which I actually like that change, because that's something you would actually say in the U.S. Basically, if you want to get the woman's if you want to keep touch with the woman, get her number. Yes. My only guess is that was basically Funimation basically doing their own thing with that particular line, because changing it from contact info to simply just saying her number is perfectly fine. Americans use it all the time, like, hey, like, I want to get a chance to contact you later. Can I get your number, please? Yes, that is generally put how that stuff works here. In Japan, it's slightly different. But calling it, let's say, asking for their number, that is perfectly all American, because Funimation is a American dub company. So yeah, they break into the room. Now, this scene pretty much proceeds exactly the same. The little mini Excalibur slices the door open, goes inside, slices open the drawer, sees the bug. The guy comes in. It was a slight little minor change here, though they do kind of change where his bed is. Yeah, from the look of it, it looks like his bed is near his desk. That's what it looks like visually. In the manga, I think it's like slightly different, but it's a minor change. The lieutenant comes in, basically confirms that he's on the same side they are, figure out who's behind. He's not the one behind Infernos, and they confirm it's Lieutenant Rekka. Yep. So, and we see Rekka. Now, this is a change. They actually do remove this in the anime. Now, they do have it where Tamaki is knocked out by him after she got us a bunch of children. They do add something here. They do show Tamaki going to the place and going inside. That was actually not in the manga. That was basically animated. It's a minor little thing, which I think that addition was fine. I don't have really big problem with that. Showing the kids basically just go inside. It's perfectly fine. Instead of just cutting to this random thing like it does in the manga. So, they go inside, so go ahead, protect Infernals. And then Tamaki gets knocked out pretty much the same way it does in the manga. You hear a lot more bone crunching than you do in the manga. Excuse me. As for how he turns people into Infernals, this scene pretty much stays exactly the same, though they give a little more detail in the anime, basically, and shot for a different angle per se, of her going nuts and then dying. And eventually Tamaki waking up. Now, in the manga, she actually slapped Rekka over this. Yes, she slapped him. In the anime, she doesn't hit him at all. Nope, they actually do not have her slapping him like she does in the manga, which this, I think, was a bullcrap change, because it shows her basically standing up for herself instead of her basically just egging on for someone to save her. Shira pretty much does the same thing he does here. Just here's like, what was that? And then later on he sees. They show. I looked up. I don't think that she does in the manga, where she uses her powers basically, sort of like a force in the sky. And you have Shira just fly right down and smash Lieutenant's face. And he's like pretty much like the episode ends exactly on page 13 with him basically just smiling and looking at Tamaki, who doesn't say much anything, but she's very happy to see him. And that's what the episode ends. It's a very good episode, but I gotta say, the change they made, with the exception of one, were fine. I had no real problem with it at all. I think the changes they made, with the exception of one. Oh yeah, and also, Rekka. Not Greg Rucka, he's a different guy. This lieutenant, my gosh, they made him such a complete dirtbag in the episode, like much more than is the manga. Like, oh my gosh. They made him basically beat the living crap out of Tamaki when she's lying down. It looked like he could have eased, like how hard he was kicking her, he probably broke about half her rib, probably about 5 ribs, Probably also ruptured a couple of organs. Probably do anything to her chest though. But yeah, she got severely injured. He also punched her. Yes, he punched her. Yep. Now you show that one kid basically is able to be like a capable host to being for this bug, and that's the reason why Infernal's happening is people are just failed subjects. Yep. Yeah, but aside from that, that's really it. But this overall is a really good episode. Yes. Now, like I said, I do disagree with cutting out the moment where Tamaki slaps Ruka right in the face. Oh yeah, and also all his ranting that he does in the episode, he's like, "I'm doing this for the greater good for the priest." Yeah, that's all from the manga. He does the same. There was a slight word change that is from in the anime from the manga and anime, but it's the same exact scene. He's just seen ranting. Yeah, talking about the preacher. Yes. Yeah, him mentioning him sets up the character for later. He does show up later on. He's not a very nice person. From what I can tell, I think he's like the main villain of the whole series. hmm But yeah, that's it for this particular review. Really good episode. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to next week's. Now, in the case of this review series, the only reason now I'm normally going to do this on Fridays. The only reason why I do it yesterday because I didn't have time to do this yesterday because I was out most of the day. So I definitely think this coming Friday I'll be able to do it no problem at all. Okay. So yeah. So my next video is gonna be a comic corner on Black Panther trades. Okay. But do you see you next view? Bye.